it feels so right just to have the infantry waves back. The infantry corps! Because every day in the corps, it's like a day on the farm. Every meal a banquet, every pitching a fortune, every formation a parade. I love the corps. Hello again, my little conscripts, and welcome to another Mordian Glory video. In today's episode, I want to share with you my new Pure Infantry Guard army for the new Guard 10th Edition Codex. It's all boots on the ground, it's Recon attachment all the way, it's over 235 bodies. And let me tell you, I am very excited for this. I love a good pure infantry army. It's my favourite way of playing the Guard, and it really feels like the playstyle has been invigorated, has been revitalised with the new codex. And so without further ado, let's not mess around today. Let's fix bayonets and charge right into this thing. Also, I want to do a shout out. I was recently, very kindly, I want to say a big thank you to Militarum Murphy for sending me this very cool Imperial Guard t-shirt. Imperial Armour, Dread the Tread. It's got a Leman Russ like battle tank on the front, and then on the back, it's got all of the other ones. I have actually been wearing this for a little while now, and this is no bullshit. It's very comfy. I actually went to tours. I was wearing it to Manchester GT this weekend. I'm going to put a link down in the description below. And I highly recommend you guys check them out. As is tradition, I want to give a little bit of context before we get into the nitty-gritty detail of the individual units. Let me explain some thoughts and feelings behind this army. Firstly, some of you might be wondering, why is Pure Infantry my favourite playstyle? Number one, it's just iconic, but number two, it's always been there for me and the Guard community when the going gets tough. I first started playing with Pure Infantry Tactics back in 7th edition, when Leman Russ battle tanks could be literally one shot by a single dice. Destroyer weapons, eh? Let me know down in the comment section if you remember those things. And so I started doing Pure Infantry because I was like, what's the point in paying for tanks if they're just going to die? I might as well go for infantry. And it turned out to be surprisingly effective. And ever since then, one of the traditions of the channel has been, when we get a new codex, when we get a new index, when we get some sort of new supplement, I always run Pure Infantry just to see how it's doing and to see if it's still a good, well, a good emergency solution if the codex isn't quite as good as we hoped, or if the meta is getting particularly spicy. And so, of course, with the new 10th edition Guard Codex, traditions must be upheld, traditions must be observed. And so I thought, for my first tournament with the codex, I'm going to take a pure infantry army. And furthermore, I'm going to take a traditional pure infantry army. All blob squads all the way, a minimum of 200 bodies. Now, I will give a little bit of foreshadowing here, because this video has been recorded after I've been to the tournament. Normally I record videos before I go, but this one's been recorded after. I think that traditional blob guard like this absolutely is viable inside Recon. I think it absolutely is viable inside the Guard Codex as a whole. However, I suspect that this is not necessarily the best way to run Recon. And I think that Pure Infantry Guard might be going more towards a pure elite infantry playstyle. Lots of maybe 10-man squads, lots of Kazakin, lots of Scions, maybe some Rough Riders, some Bulgrin. I think it's less waves after waves of infantry and more elite squads moving forward, doing precision strikes, getting that force quality and trying as best as possible to maintain that quantity. But I know in my heart of hearts, and I know a lot of other players will know this as well, and I'm sure we'll get a few comments about this, that when we talk about Pure Infantry Guard, when we talk about Foot Guard, it's got to be the waves of infantry. It's got to be full Zap Brannigan. And so, whilst this may not be the best way of running Recon, in my opinion, post-event sort of analysis, but I do think this is the right and proper way of doing it, and I think this absolutely does pass the vibe check. This just feels like a pure infantry guard army, and it looks like one as well. Jesus Christ, look at all those waves. Quick side note, whilst this is definitely, like I said, the fun way and maybe the vibey way of running Privateer Guard, I am actually very curious about trying out the more elite route as well. I have run like pure elite like Scions and stuff before, and it's been really fun. So I will be looking into and exploring more pure infantry lists and trying to hone down and zero in on what might be the best way of doing it with the new codex. With all of that said, though, let's get back to the video proper and let's get into the list itself and the units. So what you see here is 1 battalion of the Guard, and this was kind of the theme that I wanted to go for when I was building this list. I wanted to have 3 platoons in each company, and then I'd have 3 companies, which would make 1 battalion, and then we'd season the list with a few specialists. So in each company, we have got 2 blobs of Kriegers, 2 platoons of Kriegers. These are each armed with a plasma gun and power sword on the sergeants, double plasma gun, double melter gun, and a couple of medipacks. Everyone else has got the las guns. Now, interesting side note here. I actually found myself I was using a lot of stratagems on the Krieg blobs. And there was a few times, well, I'd say pretty much every single game, I was like, damn, I wish I had double Voxcast in here just to have a chance to farm a CP. It wasn't game breaking, it didn't destroy the list, it didn't make the list bad in any sort of way, but I just found that because my Kriegers were often on the front line, Voxcasters might have been a good choice here. So I thought I'd just drop that sort of note in at this point for any of you who are thinking about alternative Krieg loadouts. I think you can do like double plasma, double grenade, and double Voxcaster. I believe the GW app does allow you to do that. Let me know down in the comment section if I'm wrong about that. And honestly, based on my experience, I think that's a good idea. I think double melter gun's great, but double grenade launcher and the chance to farm CP when you're often doing like the reactive move or you're doing the tanglefoot grenade with these guys definitely has some merit, and I definitely think something I would try in the future. After the Kriegers, I have got a blob of Cadians. Cadia stands! Double sergeant with auto gun, double plasma gun, double melter gun, and double Voxcaster. Everyone else with las guns. The Cadians are going to be joined by a Cadian command squad. Each Cadian command squad is exactly the same. We've got a officer with power fist and plasma pistol, master Vox, medic, plasma gun, and banner. And then we've got a Castellan as well, who is going to have a plasma pistol and a power fist. And so these 2 units, these 2 leaders join this blob of Cadians, and that makes a command blob. And that actually gives me 3 orders, which is enough orders for the Cadians themselves and then the 2 Krieg units. I did think about spreading my officers out, so I have like 1 in each squad, but that would have been less efficient, to be fair. And also, post event hindsight, it turned out to be a really good idea that I didn't do that, because I hadn't even thought about it, but Cull the Horde and Assassinate are really obvious fixed objective picks against this list, and it did catch me out in the first game when someone did that. But after the first game, I was ready for it, and when people picked Assassinate against me, I was just more than happy to have my Cadian blobs a little bit further back, still able to do fire support, because it's Guard at the end of the day. We've got long range weapons, and first rank fast fire can make up some of the volume of not being within rapid fire range. And so I was able to stay back, and I was actually got pretty good at denying my opponent assassinate points despite the number of characters in this list. So if you're thinking of running this list, or you end up facing against it, I would genuinely recommend against taking fixed objectives against this thing. The person that scored the most points against me didn't go for Assassinate and didn't go for Cull the Horde. It was someone who went tactical objectives. Obviously, it depends on your list and everything, what you've got in it and what you've built it around. But because of these command blobs being able to just like hang back, I can feed all of these Kriegers and the Kazakin, which we'll get to in a moment. I can feed, 120 Kriegers and 30 Kazakin into you first. That'll keep you busy for the first few turns, and then in the later turns, you might pick up 1 Assassinate, maybe 2, but I found it relatively easy to deny Assassinate with this list, which I found quite surprising, considering how many characters are in it. But speaking of the Kazakin, we have got a squad of Kazakin in each company. Plasma pistol, power sword, double plasma gun, double melter gun, a hotshot sniper. We've also got the melter mine guy, the guy with the rifle with the open faceplate. He's the melter mine guy. And then we have got Voxcaster and a couple of regular Laskin guys. The Kazakin were the best unit in my army. Consistently outperforming the big blobs. Consistently being fast with move and scout. Being able to use Warrior Elite in your opponent's turn now is huge. It allows you to potentially stop them scoring objectives because you can duty and honor yourself. It allows you to go take cover if you think you're going to get some clap back. It's just very, very, very good. I think New Warrior Elite is fantastic. If I'm going to be honest with myself and with you guys, the Kazakin are the reason why I've started to turn towards Pure Infantry Elite Guard. Because they brought such quality and such force concentration to a list which normally relies upon sort of grindy sort of chip damage. They just stood out. They just stood above everyone else. And I found them to be doing a lot of heavy lifting in my list. I wish there was a detachment that allowed me to take Kazakin as battle line. GW, you know you want to make a free Grotmus style detachment, but do it earlier than Grotmus. Do it now. Free detachment that makes Kazakin battle line. If you do it, I will love you long time. And so that rounds out our company. So we've got 2 platoons of Kriegers, a big command platoon of Cadians, and some Kazakin. This means there are 76 bodies in each company, and that gives us 228 bodies. And the great thing about this is it's all frontline infantry. One of the things that I have noticed when running pure infantry in the past, especially in previous editions, is you can get like 200 plus 240 bodies, but you only end up with like 150 to 180 of them being actually frontline combatants. The rest of them are things like heavy weapon squads and stuff. So you almost like artificially inflate your numbers count, when actually the most important thing with a pure infantry guard army is how many frontline infantry do you have? How many bodies do you have pushing forward? Because support guys are good, but they don't necessarily help you do like primary game and stuff like that. So this is actually the first time I think I've ever run a pure infantry army that is more, I'd say more tooth than tail, or at least is almost entirely tooth, and there's not that much tail backing it up. Now, there is a little bit of tail here. We have got some specialists supporting us. We've got a commissar in the middle there, plasma pistol and power sword, and then we've got 2 5-man squads of scions, plasma pistol, power fist, plasma gun, and melter gun. I didn't have any Voxcasters in these because I didn't really think I was going to get the benefit of having to generate a CP with them, and also I'd rather have the extra hotshot rifle than give it up for a hotshot las pistol and a Voxcaster. Scions are just there for doing secondaries. I had enough points for 2 squads, so I put 2 squads in. The commissar is actually not going to be put in reserve. I actually used the commissar with a Krieg blob every single game, and he was super, super useful. I actually have a much greater respect for the commissar now. I used to think of just a 30-point secondary doer, but just being able to just pass a battle shock test, just like bang, pass a battle shock test, is really, really good. And I found that more than once I was getting a benefit from this. Whether it was someone was trying to force a battle shock test on me so that they could score like a secondary, like, you know, take an objective from no man's land, or whether it just someone does shadow in the warp at the beginning of my turn, and like, well, I really want to be able to hold that objective, so I'll auto pass one with the CP, and then I'll bang someone lol with the commissar. It meant that I could do my primary game as well. So I've actually found that the commissar's execution ability is very useful, and I would actually consider taking him as a staple unit now if you're running a big blob army like this. I don't think you need more than one. You just need to be able to pass a couple of battle shock tests here and there, and between the auto pass and then also with the stratagem and then between the commissar, I think that works. But yeah, I think that in a list like this, the commissar goes from being a secondary doer to actually fulfilling his primary purpose. And with these specialists added to the model count, we end up with 239. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. And before we wrap up this video, I do want to do a big shout out to channel member and the pillar of the MG community, Cosmic Drew. You see, all of these Krieg blobs, literally all 6 of them, 120 infantry, and many more besides, were actually donated to the channel by Cosmic Drew. It's taken me a long time to get them all painted up, but we now have max Krieg blob potential within the Mordian Glory collection, and that is all thanks to Cosmic Drew and his incredible generosity. So a big shout out to him, and if we could all do an 07 down in the comment section for Cosmic, that would be amazing, because I think we could all agree that donating close on 200 Krieg models, some of them are 3D prints, some of them are genuine like Forge World Kriegers, some of them are like plastic Kriegers. It's a real mixture of incredibly interesting sculpts and models, and so I just want to say a massive thank you to Cosmic, and I hope you'll all join me down doing that 07, because I think we can all agree it is a really big deal and a very good show of generosity. But with all of that said, I think it's time to wrap this bad boy up. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. How would you adjust this list? What would you do if you were going to try and make it 10th edition appropriate? Because it's very much like a traditional guard list put into the new codex, but obviously not all things translate perfectly when we get an update and everything. So how would you change it? What do you think would be the best way of running Recon and then also pure infantry guard? If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to go ahead and smash that like button. Or if you hated it, you can dislike it. I recently found out that YouTube doesn't know the difference between likes and dislikes. Any interactivity helps the algorithm. So there you go. Also, if you want to see more content like this, then make sure you subscribe to never miss an episode. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian glory hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing, truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full time without the incredible and generous support of my members, so thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bon Vert, Lord Pryor, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Walsh, Diesel Fox, and August Barney. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.